This is a mostly unedited segment from episode 5 of the Top Podcast. Enjoy.
If the I've always liked relegation.
Yeah.
I do too.
I don't know what the NFL would do if they do that. That'd be crazy.
Another good reason to have the XFL become a thing. System. You can relegate the Bears and the Texans to the XFL, and
I think that'd be crazy if like is it the Premier League, one of the soccer leagues overseas, like if you're bad enough times, or
it's a lot of leagues. I think it's kind of the standard. Yeah. Definitely in the Premier League.
So if you're
that's one thing that football I think definitely has over football.
That's what we were saying.
100%.
The Premier League, like if you have a bad team, like the Bears would have been moved down to the XFL last year, or whatever. So stuff like that.
Did you guys
make things really interesting?
Did you guys? Because I know several of us were kind of loners as kids. Did you guys maybe it was just me, but I used to go out in the backyard and I'd play whole seasons of football just on my own. Like I'd chuck the ball up, I'd catch it myself, I'd pretend there were people out there, and I would just make up these stories. And I kind of I came up with the idea of relegation all on my own as like a 7th grader. I was like, what if my team, my made up team that I'm coming up with on the spot loses this game, we'll get knocked down to them. And then when I learned that was a real thing, I was like, whoa.
No, I was never that lonely as a kid.
I don't think I had that. What a shot!
Shout out only child homeschooler for a long time.
You've been ruthless today, Robert, with Michael. You might need to apologize.
All right, that's how I express and accept love is through shots.
Okay. I
didn't have the creativity. I would just play NCAA football, and then Michigan would always beat Ohio State, and that's my make-believe world. The Lions, I could become quarterback. Andrew Pugh, our quarterback's the
with
Lions.
All 99 stats. I would do that.
20
Power trip. Give me all the max stats.
And then I retire after going 5-0. I play through 5 seasons, and I'm like, I'm done. And I retire, and I don't even make the Hall of Fame, even though I never lost a game, and I have 5 rings. But I didn't have enough passing yards, So.
Did you ever? Because I've done this all the time too. Did you ever create your speech, your retirement speech?
Retirement speech.
I didn't.
I've given a lot of talk show speeches in my head, but never a retirement speech.
No, back in the day, this is kind of like how lonely I was. I would I'd make my immediate friends into a basketball, because I played a lot. I had the NCAA basketball game, so I'd make my friends in the team, and then to fill roster spots, I'd make, what if my pet was what if Copper was a basketball player and he'd be a shooting guard and everything. So yeah.
Oh, he definitely would be a center. Copper would have been a center.
No, Luna's a center. She's huge.
How would you feel as a parent if your child lost to Air Bud in a basketball game and they lost to a dog with no hands?
Air Bud, the greatest cinematic universe of all time. I'd be honored to see Air Bud play.
High school, I would have been like, bro, you worked a lot to get here. Elementary, I'd be like, that's fun. we should go get a dog.
Was it high school that Air Bud played in?
No, pretty sure it was elementary school, or at least maybe as old as middle school, but it definitely wasn't high school.
Yeah, that'd be embarrassing.
I'm the worst basketball player of all time, so I would probably lose to a real dog, not even Air Bud.
You should have come to Lucian and I's basketball workout sessions we had for 4 months.
Yeah, it was good.
All right. Right before our honorable mentions, Lou, you get to pick the topic for next week. So if you want to start thinking about that, I don't know if you have it ready or not.
I got it ready.
Okay, cool. In that case, we can cut that whole chunk out. We ready to move on to honorable mentions?
Yep, let's hit this. Speed run.
All right. I got 2015 Arkansas Ole Miss. And if you're going, nothing you've ever said on the podcast or off it means you should be a fan of Ole Miss or Arkansas, you'd be right. But it was a game I turned on randomly on cable one day when I was at my grandparents', and it was the single greatest overtime game I've ever seen in my life. It ended with, I want to say it was Ole Miss was the the unranked team, and they went into overtime, and Old Miss Arkansas scored a touchdown. So Old Miss had to answer, and it got to 4th and 25, and the quarterback swept out to the right, threw a pass, completed from maybe 10, 15 yards. It wasn't good for a first down. He got wrapped up, the receiver's on his way to the ground, and he just chucks the ball backwards. It ends up farther back behind the line of scrimmage than when the quarterback threw it. And whoever the player, I don't know either of these teams, but whoever the player was who caught the ball went all the way to the left side and got enough blockers to gain 26 yards and get the first down, which spurred the unranked Ole Miss team to drive down, score a touchdown, go for 2, and win the game 53-52. It is absolutely wild. You can find the entire game on YouTube, 2015 Ole Miss Arkansas. Give it a watch. Absolutely worth your time.
Very cool. I think Arkansas was the unranked team there.
Oh, was it? Well, then, flip everything I said. But
There you go.
the story still stands. Utterly incredible football game.
Nice.
What you got, Andrew?
For mine, so my honorable mention is Michigan versus Notre Dame 2019, which I was personally in attendance for. So this would
Fun
be
game to watch.
this was my top sporting event that I've physically been present at. For those of you unaware, Michigan and Notre Dame played each other almost every single year from the late 70s till 2014, at which point Notre Dame decided to chicken out of the rivalry because they're soft and they'd rather pad their win total playing Stanford and Navy every year instead of Michigan. For the record, Navy...
Irish.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Irish.
I'm going to start using that.
Came off the top of the dome. Copyright. Top podcast copyright.
Navy and Notre Dame play each other every year, okay? Every season. Since 1964, Navy has beaten Notre Dame 4 times. 59 years, Navy's beat them 4 times. But Notre Dame said, you know what, this is the rivalry we want to protect, not Michigan. And I can already hear the Notre Dame fans saying, oh, but there's history there. They've been playing since the 20s. Yeah, back in the 20s, before college football was a major institution, Navy was good. How about the past half a century? So, yeah. But anyways, getting back to this game, Michigan blows the crap out of Notre Dame. I think the score is 45-14. Michigan rushes for over 300 yards to Notre Dame's less than 50.
They rushed for over 300?
Wasn't it just down?
They did.
If I remember correctly.
Yes. Yep. It was a complete downpour, which can be it can be really horrible in a loss, but can actually be a lot of fun in a victory, which it was here. You had like the cheerleaders going on a slip and slide in the middle of the game on the sideline. It was very exciting, and we aren't scheduled to play Notre Dame again until 2033. So that means I get to enjoy this for about a decade and a half.
Dang.
Michigan's first rival was actually not Ohio State or Michigan State. It was the University of Chicago. And then in the 30s, they beat them 85-0. And the two schools said, hey, maybe we shouldn't play each other anymore. But Notre Dame says, let's keep playing Navy every year.
Maybe we should see other people.
Exactly. By the way, Notre Dame 0-11 in major postseason games since 1994. Look it up. By average margin of defeat, 19 points. Michigan can't win a bowl game to save its life recently, but compared to Notre Dame, we're absolute titans of the postseason.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad we don't have Shea Patterson anymore. I'm glad we got JJ. It was a rough time with Shea.
Yeah.
Then he was drafted first overall for the USFL for Michigan Panthers. He was cut halfway through the season.
Ooh, that's rough.
I have not watched a USFL game yet, and I said, oh, maybe I will when they start playing in Michigan, because at first weren't they all playing all the games in Alabama?
Yeah.
but I
yeah.
think,
They won the bubble.
yeah, but then they played last year, and I just didn't watch
You
it.
could have gotten
I
season
thought it
tickets
was
for like $80.
more of a money thing. Like, if everybody stays in one place, we don't have to fund everybody flying across the country.
Could have been a little bit of both.
That could be it, yeah. I did not research this very hard, to be fair.
Yeah, but I know you could have bought season tickets for like $80 at Ford Field.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
like
I
the
know some
colors of the
people went.
Panthers.
They said it was fun. I just
Honestly, low key, if they're
They're not good.
after when you come down to, I mean, when you come down to watch the draft, when we're all in town together, we could go catch a USFL game just for the heck of it.
Do they play in February?
Nah, probably not.
March, sorry.
draft isn't in February. Is it?
March, they might.
I correct myself.
'Cause it's spring football. I'll look into it.
Or is
It's
it April? My
Thursday,
goodness.
April 27th. Yeah, I didn't
just
think
keep
it was
on
that
moving
early.
back there. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm tripping.
Christmas is within 2 months of Halloween.
Yes, it is. What is that? Ooh.
And I thought
The
about
draft is within 2 months of February. That's all I'm saying.
Got it. Okay. I was like, wait, what? What's your favorite type of frog?
What is that?
I think Jim Urs. Okay, so that's a drop on my favorite my second favorite podcast, the Around the NFL podcast. But it's something they drop whenever they're talking about Jim Irsay. So I don't know if Jim Irsay said it or if it's just a joke I missed. But yeah, it's one of their sound drops. It's just some guy going, "What's your favorite type of frog?"
That sounds like something that'd be on Bad Livery.
it does.
It might be. I'll do some research on that too. I gotta start taking notes on what to research.
Anything else, Andrew? Or is that the one honorable?
I just wanted to laugh at Notre Dame and relive that fun experience.
Fast today. Boy.
I hope Notre Dame beats Ohio State. You know,
Amen.
there you go. I don't dislike them as much as the Bucknuts. So
Who you got in the honorable mentions?
Yeah, I just got one. 2010 Dan Colmewell. I should have done some research, a little bit more research. But anyways, 2010 it was a offensive lineman who did a kick return for 71 yards.
Get it, big man.
Yeah, and 2010 I still believed I was going to play for the NFL. So I was like, this is some respect right here. I can see myself doing this.
You go to the
And if
ball
you want-
machine, start catching.
Exactly. Yeah, no.
hey,
but I
Panay
don't-
Sewell represent, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was honorable mention for me. I gotta get going somewhat soon. So can I do my outro and then?
Let's see. From one of my favorite in-person games was University of Tulsa versus Oklahoma State University. University of Tulsa is the forgotten about D1 college in Oklahoma. That's where I went and graduated, so my alma mater. And the only time the stadium is packed out is when they're playing Oklahoma State or the University of Oklahoma, because those are the two big colleges in the state. And it was fun just to have like that full crowd. Granted, most of them were wearing orange, which is Oklahoma State, but they had like the Jets fly in right before the game and everything, and I love the environment of live sports. That's like I said earlier. It's such a great thing. You can't get that on the couch. So in the first half we were actually neck and neck, and then I think OSU was ranked, and also that's one thing going down south. OSU there is usually Oklahoma State, especially at least in the state of Oklahoma. So it's kind of messed my brain up for a while. But then we were close to first.
True football fans know what OSU is, though. That's Ohio State.
Yeah. Well, I have
It's like the South Carolina fans who want to be like, we're the original USC. Yeah, but Southern Cal has won national titles and Heisman trophies, and you've never won anything, so they're the real USC. I don't care who came first.
Well, what's crazy is I have a friend who I went to school with, and his like home team is Oklahoma State, but then his family team is Ohio State. So I didn't know which. I had to deduce which OSU he was talking about every single time that was brought up. Shout out to Clutter. But like I said,
Michael, do you know who the greatest Oklahoma State player was? Either of you?
number
I assume
21.
you do, Rob.
Number 21.
Yeah.
Number 21, right?
Barry freaking Sanders.
Barry Sanders. Greatest season from a running back.
I'm
in
pretty
college football
sure
history.
I'm pretty sure there were some Barry Sanders jerseys at that game because you would see him around just around town and everything.
It's like the Brady jerseys in at Michigan games.
I still have a Brady jersey. It's the only Michigan jersey I have. Yeah, so it was just fun there. And then one thing, Lucian brought up that he likes fights, and that made me think of something that I didn't think of for a while. I didn't see it in person, but I'll go back every now and again and watch the Fight Night at the Joe. So Fight Night at the Joe, there's this huge rivalry between the Detroit Red Wings and the Colorado Avalanches. They were like two powerhouse teams going at each other. And one year, Claude Lemieux came and did a dirty hit on a player. It wasn't McCartney. Who was it? Another Wings player, and like his face had to be like stitched up, and he had like wires in his mouth. And Darren McCartney's like, "I'm gonna get that man for you." So they play later in the season, and as soon as they're both on the ice together, they just drop gloves and start going at it, and basically the whole team just starts fighting each other. Goalies go at each other, and I think at the time it set like records for the most fighting penalty minutes in a game. And you just see, you go look at the video, the refs had to scrape off the blood on the ice with their skates and everything, and it's just a madhouse and how much everyone's fighting. And oh my gosh, I would have loved if I could go back and see any hockey game. I think that would be it. It would have been so much fun because hockey fights are fun. Sadly, the NHL is trying to get rid of it because, concussions or something like that, some sissy rule. But yeah, that was great, and definitely honorable mentions. Other than that, like I said, you hit mine with the Ohio State. Literally, I had the same thing as you. I said, proved it wasn't a fluke. That was
right.
Nice.
Did you know there is one more D1 school in Oklahoma?
Is it so? There's 4. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
But it's not football. It's basketball. It's Oral Roberts.
Yeah.
who
ORU.
went on to the Sweet 16. Yeah, in March Madness a couple years ago, they beat the Buckeyes.
Yeah, that is
Shout out
such
to
a
Ohio
weird.
State.
That is They're also in Tulsa, and it's such a weird. Like I think they have some prosperity gospel or something. But people that go to RU
yeah.
feel like people that go to BYU, except for Protestants.
Yikes.
And I'll leave it at that.
There's a college football YouTuber I listen to sometimes, and he calls them the bicycle college because they're like living in the past or something. I don't know.
BYU
He
or
just hates
ORU?
BYU.
I suppose the best way to get a job is to go straight to the studios, isn't it?